get this thing started. For those that pop in, you know, hit that like button for your boy. Let me know if the audio is straight. Also, let me know where you are located. My bad. Just getting started on the treadmill this morning. Y'all let me know if the audio is good. Let me know because we got a lot to talk about. Yesterday was a lot of playoff football, a lot of things to discuss, a lot of still controversy from the night before. What's going on? What's up, Lanky Goodwin? What's up? All right, audio's cool. Good, good. I didn't want the treadmill to overpower everything we talking about or whatnot. And also, this is like a Q&A. You know, yesterday I did this yesterday, and we got a lot of feedback. But I thought we got two. I'm not gonna say we got two really good games. Um, we got two games where guys were getting after it, teams were getting after it. I just think that in one matchup, the Patriots were the superior team. Um, in the other game, that was really just life and death, and that's really why you watch playoff football. I thought that the Rams and Bears, that was an old school football playoff game. All right, let's see. Joseph Sandberg, what's up, bro? Hey, salute to you, my boy. Texans have to figure out if CJ Stroud is a mid QB. This is exactly why I wanted to get back on here and talk football. You know what I'm saying? This is exactly why I wanted to do that. CJ Stroud had a spark when he first started, but now you're just garbage. that, that's what I kind of think of when I think about CJ Stroud. I think about that Jay Z lyric. I think it was to Nas. Had a spark when you started, but now you just garbage. CJ Stroud, 4 interceptions at halftime, right? And I know that there are a lot of Dak supporters or not Dak supporters that come to this channel. What I can tell you is that Dak Green Bay game, how that game was, Dak was not able to really live that performance down. And CJ Stroud had that type of performance. Here's the difference. The difference is CJ Stroud's defense was able to overcome, and they were still. It ended up being a close game until Keyshawn Butte, one of my favorite draft prospects from a couple years ago, um, who really never panned out. But Butte made that insane TD grab, and that was all she wrote. What's going on? What's going on? Hey man, y'all hit that like button. Also, let me know where y'all are streaming in from too. I want this to be input type of. Uh, yeah, I want this to be very interactive for the people that come in here. Like I said, we're gonna talk playoff football. We're gonna talk that together. It ain't gonna be just a whole bunch of me talking. You know what I'm saying? Greetings, greetings, greetings. Lanky, is it Lanky or is Lansky? Sorry, Lansky. Lansky, good one. CJ had the best defense and he cost his team for sure. All right, hailing from Missouri. Salute. I'm down here in New Orleans right now for a cheer competition. You know. Oh my God, bro, what the hell? Yeah, nah, we ain't about to do that. All right, Joseph Sandberg, from Manassas, and we're gonna put that user in timeout, bro. Yeah, I don't know what the hell, bro. Some of these trolls. Let me give Joseph Sandberg a wrench real fast, because I know you. We gonna give you a wrench, Joseph Sandberg. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And what I need whenever we see crazy comments, we gonna snipe them up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get them up out of here. Uh, is it ramming? No, happy No King's Day. I mean, MLK burning. Ooh, what the hell, bro? Yeah, we gonna have to start. We gonna have to start getting some of these people up out of here, bro. I almost made him. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate you, Joseph Sandberg. Pew pew pew. Get him up out of here, man. Get him up out of here. We here to talk about. We here to talk about playoff football, bro. We here to talk about playoff football. We ain't here to talk about nothing else. Uh, it is cold here, and it's kind of crazy. When we leave, it's supposed to warm back up out here, so that's nuts. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, get if you can get Soldier Boy up out of here, you can get Soldier Boy up out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'd appreciate it. Matter of fact, I got it. So, um, yeah, we can go back to talking about CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, I don't know what it is, man. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that because I didn't even really talk about Seattle like that. I appreciate you bringing up the D Law subject. D Law that close to Super Bowl, and we thought he was the bad guy. Excellent comment. Comment of the stream so far, and I talked about that yesterday. I definitely talked about that yesterday. It was the environment. D Law actually said that in so little words. He tried to be respectful when he said it too. He didn't try and throw shots. He it I so from the outside, I mean from the inside looking out, it looked like he was just salty that a team that chose the young buck that was beside him, it looked like he was just salty. But if you look at the defensive coordinator who was the Cowboys defensive line coach, Coach Dirty, and what they were able to build, I mean, damn. I mean, damn. You had it in the building. Here's my pronoun. Read between the lines. It's my pronoun. Do a flipping out sub. Nah, I'm cool. Tamika said, happy for you always. But D-Law wasn't the problem. It was the environment. I also remember this too. D-Law, when D-Law said after that playoff game that they were tired, right? I I took I defended D-Law for that. I did personally, but now that hindsight is always 2020. You could always look at it now and say, what is it that he was actually saying? What were they tired from? I think that I actually even said that then, But looking at his success, like leaving now, and they have instant success. Two things. Number one, he's not a superstar over there, so there's not that pressure. Number two, oh, sure says running backs matter. Running backs matter. Um, Number two, he doesn't have to deal with as much BS. They can just play football. They can worry about really just lining up, playing, worrying about their assignments. You know, I mean, that's just what it is. They don't have to worry about the crazy stuff. They don't have to worry about uh, uh, putting on this song and dance show for the media. They don't have to worry about answering dumb questions. They don't have to worry about answering for their owner that might say something controversial. They don't have to worry about tours going through the building. And I know that there are Cowboy fans out there that, are like, this is what you sign up for when you're a Cowboy. Guess what, bro? Signing up to be a Cowboy, and that's what it is, isn't necessarily signing up to be a winner. People act like being a Cowboy means that you're a winner. No, it means that welcome to the show. It means welcome to the show. That's all it means. Like conforming to you knew what it was when you was becoming a cowboy. Like, come on. The Cowboys haven't won anything meaningful in 30 years. Haven't won anything meaningful in 30 years. So it's like when you say those things, you understand what you're saying. You're saying conform to be a loser. And D Law was able to go over to a team. Really, I mean, if you look at like Sam Darnold ain't. I don't know if Sam Darnold's been to a NFC Championship game, but he sure as hell is now. And I don't think anybody in this chat or anybody that's going to be here would say that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. I don't think anybody would say that. But the culture and what it is that you're striving for is just better. It's just better. They got a better coach. I'm looking at that now. Like there was a comment, I think I saw it on Twitter with Boss Cowboy, and I think it was like, why did Atlanta hire Stefanski? When he had a worse record than the previous coach. That's easy. Stefanski was a two-time coach of the year. You know what I'm saying? Two-time coach of the year. Two-time coach of the year. And I even led me to say this. It is what it is because I know that people out there are shoddy apologists. They like him, so they make excuses. You look around this whole playoffs, and well, we're gonna get this clown up out of here. Now, yeah, now what we gonna do? We gonna fully snipe people now. We gonna fully snipe them. We just gonna hide them from the channel altogether. But yeah, nah, like shoddy. You look around, you look at how games are managed, how they're set up, how even if something happens where it requires a little bit of adversity. Also, man, y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button if you already haven't. Um, how the coaches have them deal with adverse situations, bro. Yeah, how you handle adverse situations. Like really, if you look at it, the Patriots game, the Texans really were a couple plays away from really winning that game, and they didn't really play well. But how you deal with adversity, how you keep chipping away, how you keep chipping away, how you keep chipping away. And I get it, right? You say stuff like this, and this is really where, look, I kind of hate talking about Dallas, and we'll keep it to a minimum. I hate talking about them right now because they're not playing. But for the Cowboy fans that want to know what it is to get your team back there, when you say stuff like it's not really Shotty's fault that the defense did this or the defense did that. Now he's the head coach. He's in charge of the whole operation. He's in charge of the entire operation. It absolutely is his fault. Absolutely. The team, yes, you have an offense, a defense, and a special team. You have three elements of it. Yeah, you do. But in the same breath, it's your job to get everybody on the same accord. Yeah, do you think that the Texans knew that their quarterback was playing like dog water? Absolutely, they knew he was playing like dog water. It was their job to keep things steady and make it a game. And that's what they did. Did they win it? No, they didn't win it. But too often, you look at the Cowboys in this situation, and it's like those big games. That's what happens. You know, oh, Dak couldn't get 1,000 yards today, so we cooked. Nah, bro. Head coach, take your ass over in them defensive rooms and let those guys know that Dak ain't gonna have an incredible performance every time. The offense ain't gonna. Sometimes the offense is gonna need the defense to hold things down. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Lansky said, I feel like defense took a hit mid-season when Shoddy had to focus on defense. Absolutely, they did, but that comes with him being the head coach because that comes with him being a head coach. You know, you got to get everybody on the same accord, and it's like he's got to be able to manage everything. That's not a tough ask. Every other head coach has to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not an incredible ask. Okay, cool. The defense is struggling, so I got to step over here. But that shouldn't stop you from being able to manage your game, especially if you've been calling the offense. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't stop you from managing the game. So if it took a hit because you had to actually be a head coach, then you got to change the operation. You got to change something up. But it all falls on you, and that's the one thing that I'm kind of tired of watching. What up, JV? Hey, what's going on, JV? My dude. Um, Head coach, you got to be accountable. And when things aren't going, when they're not going right, instead of, allowing to deflect the blame or trying to figure out, man, they just need to become one sound, one band, one sound. That's really the struggle. It's always separating things or always, separating things and then blaming that one thing. And then guess what? That one thing goes on and says, hey, it's about football here. And nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. I do think that two things are capable of happening. I do think you can have all of the media that you want to have. I think you can have all of that. I think you can have all of the sound bites. I think that you can have all of the coverage. I think you can still have all of the clicks. I think you can still have all of the views if you focused on football too. I think that buzzwords and this person being interviewed or all that, like, I think that I think that they just hire people that they can easily manipulate. You know, we talked about it. The Cowboys like to hire desperate people for cheap. You know, yeah. Oh yeah, Joseph. Yeah, that's it, bro. That's it right there. You said it. This round, the defense allowed the offense a little bit time to get it together. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's so back to the point, man. You can have all those same things if you just allow a real coach to come in and coach. Like everybody ate up the sob stories from Shotty crying because his father was a head coach and it's his dream and all that time. Man, I don't care about that, bro. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sentimental about my father too. Love my dad. Love him. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not in his position. You think he the only head coach out there who lost a father, and that deals with the struggles and that deals with, you know, um, losing somebody or dealing with anything like that doesn't need to be like super glorified, especially if you ain't doing nothing with it. Especially if you ain't doing nothing with it. Yeah, I'm overly critical of Shotty because I think Shotty was part of the problem. And that's kind of where like I think he was a desperate cheap hire. I think he was a desperate cheap hire. Yeah, y'all get him up out of here, bro. Appreciate you, Joseph. Cowboys like putting band-aids on bullet wounds. Bargain shopping ass team. Freaking hate it. Yup. Bargain shopping with everything. It's run like a business. You know what I'm saying? To where I can get low risk, high reward. I don't know if I got any boxing fans in here, but it's kind of like this, right? It's kind of like when you're building a fighter and they don't really fight anybody. They fight a whole bunch of tomato cans. And then when they get in there with somebody, they're not really prepared for it. You realize that the operation wasn't as good as it could have been. You realize that, like, damn, I've been taking all these low risk, high reward situations. And then when I get in there with something real, I don't know what to do. That's what they be doing when they hire the people that they hire, and then when they bring in the players that they bring in. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. This is something too. They fall in love with the stories of certain guys. They fall in love with the story, and then they can sell that to you. Like, prime example. Um, Trying to think of a way to say this without really ripping players to shreds. Look at I kept saying this and people was like, it don't matter. People was like, it don't matter, but it did matter from a football standpoint, as far as being respectable. Jalen Tolbert switching to number one. Wanye Thomas switching to number two. That was a representation of your team. Two underdog ass players that, in the grand scheme of things, did not earn those. They did not earn that. Like your number one and your number two, they need to be absolute dogs with production, or you know what you're looking at. Like you had a walk on wearing number two. You had somebody who really had nothing but excuses as to why they couldn't be what they needed to be at your receiver, which you had to bring in George Pickens. And those are the guys that you give premium numbers to. You allow that. I don't know. And then it's like I'm not going to talk too bad about Wanya because I think Wanya is a really good player. He could have played. I just don't think he's an impact player, but I think that he's a good player. Uh, Tolbert though, nah, they forced him out there. They tried to force it to where Dak ain't have nobody to really throw the ball to. Like, bro, you have every opportunity in the world to make plays and you don't. Like at least with Wanye made plays with a little bit of time and stuff like that. You know, Oh, wait. Ho. Lead commander, what's going on, bro? Hey, I'm going to address that. Let me address that real fast. Yeah. Hold on. DMV, why do Cowboy content creators want fans to acknowledge the other QB failures at money time? You're basically admitting Dak is garbage too, am I right? Hey, dog, listen, you came to the right place. You came to the right place because, I didn't really put that out in the open like that. But Dak don't get no mulligans over here from me. Like if I feel like he needs defending for a certain point or something like that, like I was just talking about, like, bro, when you're top, your number two was for, and it was Tolbert. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, that's a little tough because you look at these playoff teams, and I mean they got so many different players better than Tolbert. But with that being said, I can't tell you how many times I said to myself, man, that was a big time throw. I don't think Dak could have made that big time throw. That throw that I think it was Josh Allen threw a 50-50 back shoulder to what's the number 86? I can't even think of his name. Kincaid. He threw a 50-50 back shoulder ball at a pivotal moment in the game I think it was to take the lead. I was like, Dak can't make that throw, bro. Dak don't throw them 50-50 balls like that. Uh, with that type of coverage. Those are some of the things he don't do. Where it's just like, all right, I'm gonna let my guy go win. When you got a guy, when you got like a GP, you know what I'm saying? If they playing cover zero, or if they playing cover one, but the shades, whatever, blah blah blah. But you know that you got to put the ball on that back shoulder, to where safety help can't really help. Yeah, nah, he don't make those like that. Or that play that Caleb made last night. I know they lost the game, but listen, that throw where he had to run backwards and it was like that arm strength. Like, listen, Dak ain't making plays like that, bro. Like, and I'll keep look. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it humbly. Like, this is somebody that likes Dak, right? I like his story. I think that sometimes people fall in love with his story more than what he is as a player. He had a hell of a year though. This is probably his best year that was wasted. But with that being said, you, you're not gonna win nothing if you got to depend on him to be your dude. If you got to depend on him as the source, the catalyst to get you to the promised land. He's shown you time and time again that the formula is not gonna work with him. He's not that, bro. He's not that. You got to build a team around him. Look at Seattle. He's more like Sam Darnold. Look at Seattle. They have a tough football team around the around the board. They can play defense, they can run the ball. And when Sam Darnold needs to make a play, when they need Sam Darnold to make plays, he can do it. But you gotta build a team around that. And JV, nah, it's not every quarterback. It's not. Like last night, even though they lost, right? I mean, kinda. Not every quarterback. But I'm saying the team needs to be better. The team around Dak needs to be better. Because I look at the Buffalo game, right? While there was a good portion of that game where Josh Allen was playing like crap, James Cook there are a lot of times where Josh Allen is playing like crap, and James they can just hand the ball off to James Cook. They can hand the ball off to that stable and play some defense. Like you got to have more ways to win. And the Cowboys always put it on the quarterback. It's always the quarterback that has to lead them because they paying them. And it's like, bro, it's the market. It's the market. You get what I'm saying? You're not paying top dollar for you to just bail me out all the time or to just yeah. Nah. You're paying top dollar because you have a good quarterback who's been good for a long time. He's been good. Hasn't been great, He's been good. Build the team around him. Get good coaching. You know. And while I say, okay, I don't think Dak could have made that throw, maybe he's not in a position to make those throws because those coaches on those other teams are better. Ben Johnson, better. Sean McVay, better. D'Amico Ryans, better. Mike Vrabel, better. I could go down the line. There's not a bad coach in the playoff. It's not a bad coach. Sean Payton, better. You know, sometimes even your coach needs to bail your team out with a really good call. The hook and I talked about it yesterday. The hook and ladder in the Bills game, or the tackle eligible in the Broncos game. A lot of there were a lot of good calls. Like I remember yesterday, I watched Stafford did a hell of a quarterbacking job on this one play where it was a pivotal 3rd and 6, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a 3rd and 6, and he saw that the blitz was coming. And I was in the bar. I was like, oh, blitz. I was like, he recognized the blitz, and he was able to put them in a play to where Puka Nakua. And I know Cowboy fans would be mad. They'd be like, man, here we go with all them all stops and all that type of stuff. All like you keep running all stops, blah blah blah. He sure as hell did. And Puka Nakua found the right window from where they were blitzing to where the safety couldn't get to, and he dumped it right to Puka, and Puka got the first down. You know what I'm saying? It's about being able to have the right triggers at the right time. And McVay is probably one of my favorites when it comes to play calling. He's probably one of my favorite coaches, actually. You know, he's one of my favorite coaches just to watch how his team is prepared. They can run the ball, they can throw it. The Rams, I knew that they were a tough team in the preseason. I knew that they were tough. They're um, they're gonna they're gonna run the ball. If anything, they're not gonna abandon the run. They're gonna run the football. League commander, when you put other QB's failures in with that, I can understand. But realize you're saying your QB is garbage too. Does it make y'all feel better? Well, look, bro, um, that ain't me. I don't, I don't like that either. I think that sometimes though, and just to clarify it, I think sometimes Cowboy fans they tired of getting punched on. Sometimes you just be looking for wins, even if it sounds stupid, even if it sounds dumb. You just be looking for anything not to be a punching bag all the time. You just be looking for anything not to be a punching bag all the time. As a Cowboy fan, you got to answer for a owner that don't really care to build a real football team. And I say owner GM that don't really care to build a winner. They're really just trying to field something so they can keep selling, so they can keep selling tickets. You know, at a certain point, you start defending dumbass points. I've been there before. I don't, I don't. So it's like, as much as you could be like, man, this sounds stupid. This sounds dumb. What are y'all talking about? Like, I mean, it's been 30 years of getting your ass kicked and embarrassed, and you don't have no real answers for it, and you don't have nobody. Uh, you don't really have nobody on the team really backing you up. You don't really have nobody on the team backing you up as a fan. All you have is fake bravado. You got a bunch of people giving you promises they can't keep. Like, here's one thing I'm gonna say about Dak. Dak gonna say something along the lines of, "I promise this ain't gonna happen again." Like, shut your ass up, bro. How you gonna promise that? Didn't you promise that last year? Haven't you promised something like that before? Haven't you made promises? Like, bro, shut up. Shut that shit up. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all said last year, not so much him, but Steven, oh, we ain't gonna be 7-10 again. You was right. You was 7-9-1, bro. You was 7-9-1. Y'all stink. The team stinks. I don't care if the defense stinks. Y'all stink. Offense didn't score every time. Offense turned the ball over. Offense had its faults too. As a team, y'all stink. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out. Stop making promises to the fans you can't really keep or you haven't kept. JV Boy said those coaches get paid. Yeah, you're right. You gotta pay. You gotta pay. You pay for what you get. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. Look, I'm not one of those people that's gonna make apologies for Shoddy. He was here, and I didn't really get to finish that point. But he was here with Mike McCarthy. They did the same thing with Garrett. To me, you don't get no mulligan when you was here. To me, you don't get no mulligan when you was there. You don't get no mulligan when things were bad, and then you just a rewrapped version of what the hell it was before. Okay, these other QBs have dominant defenses with run game, and Dak hasn't had that. You're right. Is he ever going to have that? Is he ever going to have that? Is that something that they are going to look and say, let's build? Let's build this. Because guess what, JV? That has been a problem since Romo was a quarterback. They don't want to win that way. They don't want to win that way. The organization does not want to win that way. They don't want to get to a point where you build a team that sometimes I got to take the ball out of my quarterback's hand because they feel like we paid him money, so we need him to have a good game every time. You're building a football team. When you're building a football team, they have to be able to be versatile, and you got to be able to lean different ways to win games. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to. They don't want to win that way. They don't want to. They don't want to get a running back. They don't want to lean on the run. They don't want to go get premium defensive talent. They feel like they can keep winning with scrubs. I look, keep it a buck. I'm gonna call it what it is. You look at these other defenses and you look at the Cowboys personnel, and the Cowboys defense personnel is scrubs. It's scrubby. It's a scrubby ass defense, and it has been. And they sell you on this. They sell you on this walk on spirit. And part of it is you won't get a defensive coordinator in here. You won't get a defensive coordinator that's she ain't gonna get a defensive coordinator that's gonna be strong enough to say, yo, I need this, this, and this, and then they give it to him. They say, oh, okay, cool. This is what you got. We ain't giving you another linebacker. You're gonna have to make it work with him. The safety room, we liked what Quinn did with it a couple years ago. Here are your four safeties. Corner, uh, we paid him. We're about to pay him. Like all you doing is recycling the same defense. You recycling the same defense. Yeah, it's up to the GM for sure, JB. And what would any owner in any other situation do? They would fire their GM, bro. He's not about to fire himself. He's not about to fire himself. I don't even know. You listen, right? And I even almost fell for it the other day. You got lip service where it's like you look on the boards, you look on the fan forums, you look on Twitter, you look at the hashtags. All of that stuff goes to the ownership. It goes to all of those people, right? It goes to all of those. And then this year they were able to regurgitate what they think we wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? They were able to regurgitate what they think people want to hear. And I almost fell for it. And then I'm just like, you know what, bro? Like boss say, show me. Show me. I don't gotta worry about, let's say, I don't know, bro. Like I just look at New England and last year when I was totally in the fandom, like my leading candidate, I wanted Vrabel. I wanted Vrabel. That was the coach. You held everything off. Like where they messed up is they thought they was gonna be able to strong arm Mike McCarthy into coming back. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I ain't about to accelerate. Shoot, my hammy is acting real weird. I've been doing a lot of walking. I'm really about to stretch after this. Like I ain't doing nothing crazy. Not today. Um, I did the other day. I did like 2 days ago. But shoot, like doing all this walking and standing, like I ain't doing nothing. But yeah, they really held off on Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy said, "Yeah, nah, we cool." He said, "We cool," and then they was kind of stuck with Shoddy. But in my mind, I'm thinking, Vrabel on the market. Damn, what McCarthy's talking about. Damn all that. Like we about to open this head coaches search up, and we're gonna try and find the best candidate. You got Ben Johnson out there. You know what I'm saying? You got all these good candidates that really turned their teams around in 1 year. Ben Johnson turned it around in 1 year. Mike Vrabel turned it around in 1 year. You know what I'm saying? Like it really starts with coaching. You got to get coaching, and the coaching has to figure out what works for what they have, and they got to be able to get the players to execute what they need. And when they get those players, the players need to answer to them and not the owner. The commander, DMV Cowboy players know who is running the show, no matter who is the coach. So it ruins the culture. So they play for contracts, not for each other. There you go, brother. There you go. I kind of said it, and I didn't even read that comment, but yep, that's it. That's it. That's it, bro. You said it. You said it. Now, what I won't do is allow you to just bash them Cowboys though, because the Commanders, man, look, Dan Quinn changed it around, and then all of a sudden they went right back off of QB injury. Like teams figure out how to hold things together. Like I mean, that was an NFC conference title game team last year, and one little quarterback injury, and y'all can't hold it together enough for him to come back. Like I mean, just be 500. You know what I'm saying? That means your team building is off too. That means your team building is off as well because you guys couldn't lean on the run or lean on defense to win games either. Y'all are in the same boat, whether you believe it or not. Y'all are in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all fired y'all coordinator because Dan Quinn right now is on the hot seat. It's not just the Cowboys that need to know how to team build. You know, Washington had the same issue too. You know, now I will say Dan Quinn is a better coaching candidate than they have had. He's a better coach than they have had, but they've had a hard time really landing those type of coaches too. Like you think about it, like if you think about it, the Commanders were in a position to where those same guys were on the market or whatever. Ben Johnson was supposed to be the head coach with the Commanders, and he tucked his tail and went back to Detroit. He tucked his tail like that was supposed to be our coach. It was supposed to be Ben Johnson before Dan Quinn, the year before or whatnot. Tucked his tail, went back to Detroit, and it's like you wonder why. You wonder why. And I know that Ben Johnson had demands. You know what I'm saying? He wanted money. And I think he wanted a certain control. And now you see that the talent is worth the squeeze. I went to a bar last night with Chicago Bears fans or whatnot. We're in New Orleans, right? Mind you, I'm down here in the French Quarter, right? That bar we was at had nothing but Bears fans in there. Nothing but Bears. I'm talking about dressed Bears top to bottom. I mean, the Bears. You had women in there like stunting, doing cheerleading groups and stuff. Like, I mean, it was so many Bear fans. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out the connection from Chicago to New Orleans, and why there were so many damn Bear fans. But it was nothing but Bear fans in there, and they're super excited because they hadn't seen anything like this in a long time. And it started with the hire. It started with the hire. You gotta hire. You gotta hire strong coaches. You just have to. Okay, JV boy. The new owners are better than Snyder, and they're still losing. And here's the thing, though, League Commander. Y'all did go farther than the Cowboys in the last 30 years. Y'all did last year, for sure. But as you can see, the NFL has so much, what do they say, parity? Has so much parity that you could go from that, from 12 wins, to what y'all were this year, that quick, if it's not done right. What that really means is this year coming up will tell you if that was a flash in the pan or not. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not even a playoff team in this year coming up, that just means that y'all missed y'all window. Y'all missed that opportunity. And us Cowboy fans, we have been there before. Not so much in the NFC title game, but damn, I slipped up and said us Cowboy fans. But no, y'all understand what I'm saying. Like that year with Romo, where the team won 13 games, was it 13? I think, and they had home field advantage and lost to the Giants. That was a window that was missed. The Dez Carter year, that was a window that was missed. Dak's rookie year, that was a window that was missed. And it's like, sometimes you're not as good, but you have the opportunity. You're there. And it's like if you just take the next step, you realize that year you gotta get it done right then and there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get it done right then and there. And if you don't, then you know you're still gonna be searching for that for a long time. You're gonna be searching for that for a long time. So we're gonna find out about the Commanders. And I know you know that too, bro. I know you feel that. I know you feel that. That's why the Bears. That's why the Bears stood up and had a standing ovation for their quarterback, even though he threw that pick to lose in the game. Even though he threw that pick to lose in the game, they recognized what they were looking at. And sometimes, when you're with winning teams or whatnot, or you're in a winning situation, you're going to lose coaches. And it's up to the head coach to be able to keep staffing and keep the formula the formula, or adapt the formula to where it's going along with how the game is played. It's going along with how the game is played. Yeah, so whew, JV boy crazy. He said your QB showing he injury prone like RG3. You gonna take that, bro? Damn, damn. I ain't gonna lie. That boy is JV5. He gonna have to, because I think he even had those issues in college. He gonna have to put a little bit of muscle on that frame, and he's Jaden Daniels is gonna have to not rely so much on his legs. He's gonna have to become a student of the game, and you run around when you need to, but he's also gonna have to put some. He's gonna have to put some weight on. He definitely is. He's going to have to. He's going to have to get strong in the smaller areas of like around the big muscles. He's going to have to get functionally stronger. But yeah, he's definitely going to have to put some weight on. It's going to take away from how fast he is, but he don't need to be a 4.3 to be effective at his job. Really, the game is in the longevity of the mind. This is what keeps you around for a long time. not this, not the legs. You know what I'm saying? Not being a brute, not being a super athlete. But up here will keep you playing for a long time and playing at a high quality for a long time because the game is always changing and you always got to be able to adapt because what you had success in this year, next year there's 31 different coordinators and staffs watching every bit of tape because they ain't got nothing else to do. Their team right now ain't playing, so it's like I ain't got nothing to do right now but watch tape and figure out okay what teams did to slow you down and how I can add that to what it is that I do. You know what I mean? So Jaden's gonna have to add a different facet to his game that it becomes tough to take away from him. Like I'll use this as an example. Basketball. Look at Jordan. Michael Jordan. The thing about Michael Jordan, you look at people who didn't understand his game. You look at the younger generation. Like LeBron's better this, blah blah blah. Jordan ain't play against nobody, blah 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 blah. This is the one thing you knew about Michael Jordan. You knew that he was going to get to his spots. You knew where his effective spots were, but you still couldn't stop him from getting you on the post, the turnaround. You couldn't stop him from the 15 feet. You couldn't stop him with his long with the long ass carrying ass hezzy that he had. You know, you couldn't stop him from getting to where he knew it was a wrap if he got to that spot. That's what Jaden Daniels is going to have to do at the quarterback spot. DMV, if JD5 and Dak play 17 games next season, who you see taking their team further, bar injury? JD5. He got a JD5 got a different temperament than Dak. He more of a killer. I don't think Dak is a killer for real. I said it. People can get mad. I don't think Dak is a killer. Y'all know a killer. You know a killer when you see one. And I will say that the JD5's issues this year revolved around his injuries for sure. But he a killer. I don't think Dak is a killer. I think Dak is a good quarterback, but he don't got the killer. He don't got the killer instinct. If he did have the killer instinct, I think that Dallas would have. There was a couple windows to where I think if he was a killer, they would have gone a little bit further. I'm just keeping it a buck. I don't think he got killer. I don't think he got. Some people have it. Like for example, like I'm just look. We keeping it. Look, we keeping it a buck here. Sam Darnold ain't a killer. He's not a killer. I tell you what, who is? He lost last night, but Caleb Williams is a killer. Stafford, he just lost to a bigger killer. That's all. He lost to a bigger killer. Stafford's a killer. You know what I'm saying? In the playoffs, like shoot, they were one play away from last year from possibly going to a Super Bowl with the Rams. Like, I'm trying to think of another killer that's still around. I mean, Mahomes is a killer, but they had a bad year. Josh Allen is a killer. Like I'm gonna be honest, that was a catch and that was a killer play. That was a catch and that was a killer play. Instead, that ended up being an interception. But that game seals uh, another playoff win because he was a killer last week too. That seals another playoff win for Buffalo, and they should be playing next week. They should be playing next week. Josh Allen's a killer. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got killer in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like if you put those guys in certain situations, like where they won 12 wins, three years in a row. There's no way they have all shortcomings, bro. There's no way. 12 wins 3 years in a row? No way. Nah. JD5, this is what I can say about them. They went into Detroit when Detroit was a killer. That same Detroit that put 50 on Dallas that year, they went into their crib and they embarrassed them. They embarrassed them. And JD5 was a killer, bro. Like that's one thing I can't take from him. You might say he a frail body. You might say that. You might say he a frail body. He might not be able to last the league because he might stub his toe and be out for 6 weeks or whatever. But if he healthy, we talking health. We talking health. If he healthy, yeah, he one of the one. You know what I'm saying? It's not even to kill JV boy. JV my dog. He know that. I think deep down JV know what I'm talking about. I think deep down JV know that this is the truth. They gotta build the team. They gotta build the team a certain way, and they haven't done it because Dak ain't that killer. They building a team for him to be the killer, and it's like how many times you need to see that he ain't that. How many times you need to see it? You know, do I put this year on Dak? No, I don't. I don't put this bad year on Dak. This was Dak's very best year. It absolutely was. And it's like, what do you have to show for it? What do you have to show for it? Because there were times where Mahomes had bad defenses. That defense with the Chiefs was not always good. It was not always good. I know they won one or two of them Super Bowls, and that defense maybe got a timely stop here and there, here and then. But the defense, bro, used to get railroaded. And if you were to kick a field goal and it's a 4 point game, Pat Mahomes would go down and score a touchdown with a couple seconds left. It's like, damn. Like look, people don't want to hear this, and I know that I blame Kellen Moore more than anybody for that loss against San Francisco. I think was it 2022 when, but 2 minutes to go. Dak had opportunity with that damn ball, yo. We can't act like he didn't. And he dear eyed Dak. That's what happened. I know y'all saw it too. And it's like when you take them colored glasses off, and if you had to bet your life savings on it, that with 2 minutes to go in a playoff situation, where you down by four and you gotta go drive the whole field to get a touchdown, would you bet your life savings that Dak is gonna get you a touchdown? I'm not talking about the defense making a stop after he got the touchdown. I'm talking about would you bet your life savings that he would get that touchdown? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. Not with him. Josh Allen, yeah, I would. Hell, JD5 shows you he can do that a little bit. Now I'm not saying that Dak can't go get you game winning drives during the regular season. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Now, JV boy, here's my thing. I think that was a catch. That was BS. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a catch. I think that, like, yeah, sure, Dallas is on the other end of certain stuff like that. They were like the Romo. Hell, I'll keep it a buck with y'all. I know people don't want to hear it, and while I believe that Dak is a better overall quarterback, better overall leader, shit, I saw more killer in Romo than I saw in Dak. I saw more killer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I think sometimes Dak be I think he be tentative in the moment. Like Romo, like, you know what? I'm gonna go out on my shield. And I don't care what people say. I don't care if I throw that pick and they fry me. I'm gonna do the same damn thing the next time. I'm gonna do the same damn thing the next time. Dak be caring about what y'all think, bro. He do. He be caring about the newspaper clippings and what they say about him and all that stuff. He do. That's why sometimes you gotta save him from himself. You gotta save him from himself, and you gotta build a team around him to take that pressure off. He didn't already mention to y'all. He didn't already say that he has, you know what I'm saying, like depression, anxiety. He didn't already told y'all that, and I've defended him because there's nothing wrong with that. But Skip Bayless took it, and so Skip Bayless did it wrong, right? What do I mean by that? Skip Bayless was like, I don't want to hear that my quarterback. I don't want to hear that my quarterback deals with mental issues and that he has anxiety. I want him to be a killer. This, that, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Not all teams are made up like that. Not all teams are made up like that. Not every quarterback works that way. Not every winning formula is like that. That's where he was wrong, and it came off as insensitive. It came off as insensitive when he did that, right? But if you know you have a good quarterback, if you know he's a good quarterback, and you know you can win with him, why wouldn't you put him in a position to be successful? Why would you keep pushing the button that he said he struggles with? Why would you keep doing that? So, you know, I think that hell, we gonna find out what. I really wish we could find out what Drake May is made of because really, Stroud threw 4 picks in the first half yesterday. Uh, he not gonna get to play against Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix showed you guys that he has that ability. He was showing you that. Had a freak accident. You know, shout out to Bo Nix. But here's another thing though, right? Um, Purdy. Purdy has shown that he can play well in the playoffs. And when they got up against that formula that I'm talking about, where you build that really good team with a good coaching staff and all of that, like you can have that ability, but you can't be a team that's better built than you, that is ready to withstand. Like the better team, more often than not, is going to win in football. You know what I'm saying? It's going to win in football. Build a team with a culture. Seattle is it's very intentional what they're doing. It's very intentional what they're doing. I don't think Seattle has a weakness. I don't think they have a weakness. If that makes a total sense with you guys. When you have teams that don't have weaknesses and they're tough, they're exactly what it is, a tough out. The commander understand Dak is a very good quarterback. You can argue that, but do like other QBs choke at money time. Dak is a regular season phenomenon for sure. I mean, he gonna have to prove otherwise. He gonna have to prove that he's not just a regular season quarterback. He gonna have to prove that. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about this. Stafford got a bowl. Stafford got a Super Bowl. He also has playoff moments. Dak don't have no playoff moments, y'all. He don't. I mean, Tampa, that was a really good game. I'll give him that. They put Tom Brady out. I'll give him the Seattle game. In I think it was 2018. You can give him that. But that's like child's play when it comes to Stafford in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That's child's play. And Stafford had the same issue, but it's like it took him a while. It took him to get a really good coach in order to get that off his back. So, like I said, get Dak a good coach and a good culture, and we'll see. They have not done that yet. They haven't. They have not done that. Mike McCarthy is probably the best situation that he's ever had. Yeah, Lansky said Gunslinger Romo. Remember when Cooper had Dak change the play against the Eagles and won that game? Cooper didn't see the ball next game. Dak is a go by the book guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Dez was washed. I don't think Dez was washed when he got cut. I don't think he was. I don't think he was washed. I think that was by design. I think Coop showed you he wasn't washed. That was by design. Oh, okay. What was it? Love from the Arctic Circle, Finland. The world is a mess, but I hope kindness find you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Oh my God, bro. Yep. You gonna hide user from channel. Yep. But yeah, let me I wanted to get him on here, talk a little football, talk some playoff football. I hope that I was entertaining, while I was getting a little walking. Probably about to go upstairs and stretch a little bit. Probably gonna do some more walking and stuff today. So I just want to be a little bit prepped for what it is that, whatever adventures happen in New Orleans. But appreciate y'all, man. Have a blessed MLK day. We out. Peace.